97% ladies and 93% gentlemen. Thank you for joining me on the BDMMA channel. This is a celebratory 20,000 subscriber breakdown, and who better than someone in the Nurmi clan to break down? Recently announced, this is Umar's Umar. I've done a breakdown on him before, but there were two fights between then and now with his recent signing of with the UFC rather that I wanted to cover, and they are certainly my meal ticket, and I'm not stupid. So without further ado, let's see this talented young cat. A lot of people call Khabib with striking. Firstly, this is Sidamar Onario. I think I could be butchering that, and if so, I'm sorry. He's very, very good with question mark kicks and chambering of kicks and just in general, and switching stance as well. They're just two things that he does very seamlessly, if you will. Long jabs and feints, staying southpaw. He'll approach each fight differently depending on if the person, like this person's more of a striker than the next. Defense is on point though. No damage was done. The attempted counter was fast, and the footwork was nicely non-linear backward, meaning he's not moving in a straight line when he's going backwards. See how he hits him with that little right-handed jab right there, and he's kind of pivoting out to his own left. It's kind of a defensive mechanism at that point more than anything, or you could look at it as a measuring stick, right? Look at that, and that's a little bit of a wild swing, a little haymaker, nice inside leg kick. That was a stiff jab step in, so people will call that a tie jab. This dude's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so his striking's wild, but it's powerful. There he is, essentially pulling guard, which I don't blame him, but Omar is a salvaje. You can look it up. I'm not explaining it. Beautiful guard pass, trying to get into side control. Gets back to butterfly guard, but his hands are free to throw a right hand and use the reaction of it to attempt like a pressure pass with your shoulder, where you put one leg over your shoulder and kind of push toward the opponent's shoulder with it. There's so much variance on pressure passing. Now, seemingly, normally, when you watch a fight with someone who considers himself a striker, he'd be, content to stand in this situation. Nope. Drops a bomb on him. Timing his Rolex-like. His distance is controlled or dictated by the Chaspas kick, or as Rogan has made it called now, the oblique kick. It was never what it was called before. I gotta just stop even correcting it. Phenomenal footwork. It's just ring generalship, really. And as the opponent's, he's going to drift weak side, like toward the camera. He's going to cut him off with just simple jabs. Watch how drastically he doesn't see that. He overcompensates almost. When you're that comfortable switching stances, it only makes sense, right? 10, see that? Because he's standing southpaw, and now 7, boom. The kicks just come out and out. There it is. I didn't want to spoil it. So keeping the foot on the gas there. The opponent looks a little befuddled, so Omar goes from the switch stance into the question mark kick. It's like a feint 1, flush 2 afterward. So knee chambers up and over, bang, feints the 1, hits the 2, and now he bullies him up against the fence. And this dude's going for, I think that's like an Ippon Sage, I forget exactly. But it's a bad idea against someone that, like anyone that's a Nurmagomedov, he just goes hip heavy on him and rolls with it, and then it's not going to work, especially against a cage. There's no room to really follow through with said throw. So he's going to pass his guard in about 1, 2, 3. It's like 6 seconds. There he is. It's full guard. It's open, but he's going to pass over. There he is in the half. The little elbow. And as he's keeping his hips high, and that's going to be a theme, and I pointed out more so later when it's more obvious, but the tenacity here, this is where you'll see familiarity, right? He's always balanced, and I don't mean that in the abstract way, although that counts too. I just mean in a literal sense. Passing, whatever it is, ground standing. So this backstep to me shows tremendous ground IQ, just as Khabib would. He's switching directions and breaking center line constantly. He's never content to just stay still and guard. So he finishes the round on top after a little smish here. And ref jumps in 1, 2, 3, and that's that.
Round 2.
So round 2. Right away, there's a no-sell, little nice high 9 from Orthodox. This is a staple. Just good defense and distance awareness, and then there's a little nice teep here, and it's a way to just like check somebody. See that was blocked well and returned better. Piston pumping jab, GSP style. That's like a bunch of mini feints in a row, kind of machine gun rapid fire. So here, there's once, and boom, he feinted it slightly there. So it's tough to tell where it landed, but that wasn't a normal body kick. It wasn't like a round kick up and around into the ribs. He chambered and came high. So watch his left knee here. He's gonna bring it up, and he chambered a little bit, and then put out his toes, like almost to the solar plexus. So if you haven't noticed already, I'm showing you the vast arsenal and just around, you know, the first one at that. Here he's going to chamber again for what appears to be like a chaspas to the knee. He goes high with it. Beautiful stuff. See how he's inside? He's going to use his heel to thigh there, or high on the knee. So here's some more piston pumping on the strong side. He caps with an inside 7, but the route to it is interesting. See there? See, that's very George St. Pierre. There's a beautiful inside leg kick. In fact, that whole sequence was very George St. Pierre. So back to southpaw. His defense is equally evasive. Yeah, his pressure is equally within his namesake, I would say. He's evading kicks and closing the gap, and this kid is so impressive to me. He considers himself a Thai fighter, not necessarily a grappler or a wrestler. So here's a slight post punch pull, I should say. And he's going to reposition the flurry with his hands. Watch this. So he throws that jab out and he pulls a little bit, and then nice little flurry. And they're little short punches, but if you got heavy hands and awareness, that'll work just the same. So light on his feet, but not bouncing with any predictability. And a lot of this stuff's just not spoken enough. Look at that defense. You know, you don't hear about that often when it comes to, say, Stylebender or Khabib. Is their defense. Their defense is fantastic. So he's hip feinting and making reads on the fly, trying to draw something out. But the dude's he's a little bit tentative, and he doesn't know where exactly Omar's trying to capitalize, I would say. So that's uncanny. The reflexes right there. So normally a straight punch is the intended counter when someone goes to outside leg kick you like that from the open stance. Instead, he lifts up his leg like as if he were to check it and comes over the top and lands that question mark. Just wonderful. So here's an 8 into a delayed 10 high. So the number system you'll get used to if you're new. It's just a way for me to describe the strike with a simple digit. And again, I can't stress that enough, that the importance of defense. So you'll see that he's in control of defense. He checked that kick to a point where it hurt, probably dead on the shin. So oddly, and I mentioned this prior, but he considers himself a Thai fighter. So when I see him, you know, turning caught round kicks into the opponent's, you know, butt on the canvas like that, I go, oh, well, he can be whatever he wants to be, right? So I love this style of stance switch, and I learned this watching George hitting a bag one day, and I was just asking what he was doing. I started paying attention. It was like almost like a faint Superman punch like that, and then he would switch his stance. Look at that, it's beautiful. I know Khabib is a big fan of George, so this doesn't surprise me at all. This is the payoff I was talking about earlier. It's nice 3-2, and now the 3 was kind of stuffed because he kind of got him off position. 2 still landed and stung for sure. Beautiful use of the lead leg here, right there, up and around. He's missing those by, I mean, a hair. And there's a beautiful side kick right to the organs. And here's an order change. So he's going to go 2-3 as he shifts into it. And there's a jab into the question mark kick. I mean, so varietal. Nice angle from lateral to blitzing. He covers distance just incredibly. And this is a middle 10, 7 to 9. So boom, 10, middle. Here we go. 7 outside, and there it is. This is a 9 middle. 9 can be middle or high. Effortless sliding just out of range. And just notice he slides back below, that his eyes don't change levels. Watch his eyes. It's always the same. It's center of mass, and you'll learn that if you don't know already. So the feints are showing more of the efficacy of some of the kicks, just getting close. Here he is. See how much reaction he's getting there. And there's another no sell, another teep. I mean, this is like it looks like a kicking exposition. Now an axe kick as a means of shifting is something I don't know that I've seen. That was from Orthodox in the Southpaw. Pretty incredible. Round 3, and this is going to start he's coming out ablaze, and even though he's probably got 2 in the bag, that was wonderful inside low kick into high head kick. And he's light on his feet. Khabib is too, and doesn't get enough credit for it. And I'm going to always butcher all their names. It's just the way I speak. I really don't need to be corrected. So this is more improvisation via combination, right? So fast reading to subsequent hands exposed by another head kick. Boom, 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 delay, nice up top. And this dude's got good defense as well. So he's getting right out of the way, but it's close. Interesting high kick into straight punch, and the hip shift forward into a body lock takedown. Eventually, he just gets to that point, right? And the dude just kind of just falls on his sword a tad there. This is a very, and I don't know if you know who he is. He's an Australian grappler, but Lachlan Giles. He puts out a lot on BJJ Fanatics. Very, very similar to how he does body lock passing. So see, his hands are connected here on the leg. Some people call that like a rugby pass. It's a little bit different though. And if I'm going to fast forward this because this was a tad stalemate-ish. Chess terms, get used to them. Opponent is getting heavy legs as Umar is seemingly getting sharper as this goes on. And the results are going to be what looks familiar. See how his head looks labored, even moving? So it's amazing how via footwork and aggression he's creating this incredible pressure, maintaining his evasion throughout. And another shin to chin just misses. This is, see here. Oh, it's so close. I mean, that dude heard it. This looks more like Islam Makhachev than Khabib to me, but knee intercepts the blitz and double underhooks. Watch this. Boom. Intercept. Now watch this. Right away gets both. He's going to bully him right up. Oh, he has a collar tie and an underhook. I stand corrected. So another kind of futile shoulder throw attempt again. No, that's not working, dude. You got to abandon ship there. So the fight ends with, more of a statement. The staple aggression, a very clear victor, of course. Omar don't scare of anyone's guard, nor would his cousin. By the way, they're more like brothers than cousins, I would say, or I would venture a guess. Anywho. So after this fight, he moves on to, I think that's Brian, I guess, but that's how it's spelled, Gonzalez. And this was for the PFL title. And there was kind of a known thing that if he won this, he was going to the UFC afterward. If impressive. So he wastes no time, throws an actual switch kick this time. See that? That's how you want to cover distance doing a switch kick, by the way, is you kind of want to step in. So wonderful distance deception here. He flashes his left hand to pronate it out to give the opponent like that sense of safe distance. And when I say distance deception, that's usually what I'm referring to. There are exceptions, of course, to everything. There are no absolutes when it comes to hand-to-hand combat. See that? He keeps pushing out. Boom! Brought it right around and up. Oh, that landed nice. And that evasion right after is wonderful. Pressure makes diamonds, eh? Having those two look on, kind of like an older brother and your uncle that is a bad mofo. The opponent's elusive, though, so he's got to switch up the southpaw. He's going to start chopping at the leg. See that movement? He's got good footwork, and it's Dominic Cruz in that it's so unique, Check out the head, bang. That put him on weird legs there. Take him down, please. I can only imagine whatever he said was listened to, because there was like an execution of something. So after a little chest match and half guard here, which went on for a little bit, he starts going high shoulder, and he's got that same head pressure from the shoulder that Khabib may have. It hurts. I don't know if you grapple, but if you do, you'd understand. It's one of my personal favorites here, the pyramid pass, of course. See how he's gonna, right there, he's balanced up after posting his leg up, and then he switches his hips and knee slides over into Kesa. So he's going to walk around to block the hip with his right knee. This is excellent textbook guard passing. See, until he finds that gap with his hip, there, bang. His own hip, so he puts his right leg his right knee to the opponent's hip. So from knee on belly, he's attempting to move to a mounted crucifix. Again, these are definitely Khabib staples as well. I think Umar is more the striker and Khabib more the grappler. But anywho, most of the camp excel on the ground, really, with this heavy pressure that I mentioned earlier. And watch how his hips are always higher. This is the sequence I wanted to point to. But his dexterity too, it's incredible. Even more so than say Khabib's is. I think maybe his legs are longer. So it's like this faint guard pass, which is something you don't hear about often. See, from right here, He's feinting like he's trying for that crucifix. I'm trying. He's focusing. This dude's bucking up, but it's rhythmic. So what do you think he's going to do by watching this, right? He's basically in half guard. So he's going to skip a pin, right? If I'm not half guard, side control. See that? He was timing the buck up to go right into mount. It was very slick, and this is no bueno for anyone. That is a nice high guard. He's trying to do the high leg thing, which is always like a sign to me. This one-handed choke, I won't call it what Rogan did, but with elbows looming, and watch the wrist control throughout. This dude's either trying to hang on or being hung on to, but either way, it's not helping. We see more shades of Khabib here than any other time, really. This is a beating. He's pushing his head down or punching it down to the mat. Now he's relegated to just turning, really, and covering up, but there is no rest for the wicked. Check. Beautiful, beautiful control here. And now he really needs to just break the turtle and stretch him out, going high with this pressure. And this should be a wrap, either via strike or submission. Getting right wrist control right there, in and through. Now, precisely that. He's going to stretch out his vines and ride high. So this dude's eventually going to get there, right? So wrist pressure with left hand as he strikes with the right. This is an RNC setup if ever there were one. I mean, you can see his left hand's going to push down here as he's punching, and he just all of a sudden doesn't do it that time and slides his hand right under and just needs to connect, which I think he just did. And that is checkmate, my friends. That's a wrap. You get that tight on someone and you got any squeeze at all, it is over. All class, and soon to be world class, let's hope. I can't wait to see this kid at 135 in the UFC. We're seeing what Peter Yan's doing, which is he's a very different fighter, but it's interesting nevertheless. So in conclusion, I don't believe that he has to be compared to Khabib all the time. He's his own person, but he's a promising 23-year-old that's undefeated, training under the very best. So may the future be bright for young Umar. Man, must have a code, right? Wonderful stuff. And I thank all of you for contributing to the 20,000 subs. It means the world to me. Without my Patreons or patrons, I wouldn't be able to do it for sure. And I just thank you for tuning in. And 20,000 subs. Wow. 100 next, right? I hope. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Cheers.